Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Wow, what a crowd this one is, huh? What a crowd. Look at that up in the rafters. I don't know. Are you guys okay? Can you see that place? Low up there. Well, I have some friends up there. They couldn't get seats. Can you believe this? Thank you very much, everybody. It's great to be in Milwaukee. We love Milwaukee. And a very special welcome to, we love this place, right? We got it, the ship contract. We got it, the biggest shipping contract. You know that? We love being in Wisconsin. I'm thrilled to be back in this beautiful state with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. That's what you are. And we have a country that's going to hell, but we're going to turn it around very fast. And I'd like to begin with a very simple question. Very simple. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? So I've come today with a message of hope for all Americans with your beautiful vote. Oh, we don't want your money. I don't want your money. I want your damn vote. Okay? We want that vote. I will end inflation. I will stop the criminal invasion of our country, the biggest problem we have right now. And I will bring back the American dream. And this is all you really need to know. We have somebody who's grossly incompetent as, I guess, I don't know, is she the vice president, the president? Is she a contender? What the hell is she? Kamala broke it, and I will fix it, and we'll fix it very quickly. And America will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than ever before. It's going to be. You watch. This is going to be so much fun. That's the good thing about that little slippage that they had, that little, because it showed how bad they are. It showed how bad they are. And there's never been spirit like we had. There's never been any race that we've ever had in the history of this country that's had this kind of spirit. So I just want to thank everyone. This election is a choice between whether we will have 4 more years of gross incompetence and failure, or whether we'll begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. They're going to be the 4 greatest years. And I'm asking you to, it's very hard for you to do this, to be honest with you, because you look at what's happened to our country and how the hell can you do this? But I'm asking you anyway to be excited about the future of our country again. Just be excited. We're going to turn it around. And I'm asking you, dream big. The American dream, just dream big. We're bringing it back. This will be America's new golden age. It's going to be the golden age. Look at this place. I mean, what the hell? How do you beat it? How do you beat it, huh? How's Eric doing? I think very well. Oh, boy. He's a great guy. He's a great-looking guy, too. Sometimes I'd say maybe he'd be better off without that mustache. I'm not sure. He's such a handsome guy. I said, I don't know. But, I guess you better leave it, because I hear you're leading, so we have to leave the mustache. Right? And you're doing great, Eric. Boy, oh, boy, we love it. We love it. We love this whole place. We had a little event here, recently, that, right? That was the convention. We had the convention. I had a little patch on my ear, excuse me. Little patch. I said, I don't know. I was a little embarrassed walking out with the patch. But there's nothing you can do about some things, right? Every problem facing us can be solved, but now the fate of our nation is in your hands. It really is. We win this state, we win the whole thing. You know that? On Tuesday, you have to stand up and you have to tell Kamala that you've had enough, that you can't take it anymore. She's been the worst vice president in the history of our country. And you remember, just 5 months ago, everybody was saying she can't run, she's grossly incompetent. She was the worst vice president in history. We're not going to take it anymore, Kamala. You're fired. Get the hell out of here. So today was the last day for in-person early voting for most of Wisconsin. There's a little tiny section, but I'm not going to get into the detail. But you still have until Sunday to vote early here in Milwaukee, as well as in Madison and Green Bay and Racine. We love Racine. We just left Green Bay. We had a great event. Was anybody at the one in Green Bay? That was a good one. That was, how's your football team? You know what I liked? I love Brett Favre. And we got a call from Brett, and you have to, I mean, he's a great guy, and boy, what a player. And I shook his hand. I said, man, that's the biggest hand I've ever seen. His fingers were like sausages. That's why he could throw a ball 80 yards, right? No, he was great, but he never did it before. It's such an honor because he never did it before. Thank you very much. No, Brett never did that before. You know, as an athlete, it's hard to do a little bit. You can't do it. You lose some fans, maybe, who knows? Crazy people that say, oh, I don't like him because he likes somebody, but Brett was great, and we had an unbelievable day. And to get his endorsement, and he wanted to do it right here. He wanted to do it right in Wisconsin, any place he said in Wisconsin. And he gave me a full endorsement, and that was a great honor, right? That was a great honor. Great guy. He could really rip that ball. So thank you very much to Brett. So get everyone you know, you have to do it. You have to vote, vote, vote. We're going to win this thing, and we're going to win it big, and I'd love to win it right here. I'd love it. And if you haven't voted early, just come on Tuesday. We don't care at this point. We don't care when you vote. Just make sure you vote. And if you see anybody cheating, then what you do? You know what you do? Report them immediately. No, we're doing great. We're leading just about, I think, all 7 swing states we're leading. But don't listen to me now. Don't listen. Just pretend we're 1 down, right? We're 1 point down, please. We don't want to say, oh, we don't have to vote today, Alice, because he's leading. No, don't do that. We've seen that stuff happen. We don't want to do that. Oh, the mic. Yeah, I think the mic stinks. I think it stinks. Crazy. Oh, that's what I was wondering what the hell they were shouting. I think this mic stinks, by the way. And then we don't pay the contractor. I say, don't pay the contractor. Then they write a story. Trump doesn't pay his bills. He's a bad guy. No, the mic is terrible. I had another one today. You know what? I've done 3 of these today. Somebody said maybe what we could do is maybe we could just skip the last one. I said, there's no way I'm skipping. There's no way. And this is the best one of all. Look at this place. Thank you. The ladies from North Carolina, 259 of these they've come to. Look at them. They're beautiful. I don't know where the hell their husbands are. They're married. All of them are married. But they're great, and thank you very much. We're rounding the turn, aren't we, huh? We're rounding the turn. And we have Front row Joe's over here. Look at him, and we have Mr. Wall over here. You know, what is sort of sad. Is that mic now better back there? Oh, that pisses me off. They don't get it. Well, the mic at Madison Square Garden worked very well. Was that a great event? But honestly, it was basically the same crowd as you have here, right? Same thing. Your NBA arena, your team is very good. I would say the Greek is a seriously good player. Do you agree? And tell me, who has more Greek in him, the Greek or me? I think we have about the same, right? He's a great player, maybe the best player in the NBA, actually. He may be the best player. He's supposed to be a very good guy, too. But with your help, we're going to defeat Kamala Harris, and we're going to make America great again. Thank you very much. Thank you. So in breaking news, the economy created a pitiful, you won't even believe this, the economy stinks. What timing? What timing? 4 days before the election, they have among the worst numbers ever in history. Nobody's ever heard. They did 12,000 jobs. Normally you're 250, 300,000, 400,000. They did 12. Think of it, 12,000 jobs. And it's hundreds of thousands of jobs less than it should be. Think. Because they're pathetic. They don't know anything. These people don't know anything. She's a very low IQ person. We don't need a low IQ individual. We just had that for 4 years. We don't need this. But those numbers are so low, they're almost disqualifying. The only thing good about the numbers I'm going to give you now are that it's great to run against the people that created those numbers, because it's terrible. And just think, a few months ago, they fraudulently claimed, remember, 3 months ago, 818,000 jobs. It was a fraud. Everything they do is a fraud. And then they go after people that aren't frauds. They're a fraud. The whole operation stinks. But they created 818,000 fake jobs. And they thought they'd get away with it, and a whistleblower blew the whistle. And they blew the whistle. They thought they were going to announce. They call it a correction. That's a hell of a correction, by the way. That will be the world's biggest correction in history. What do you think, Ron Johnson? That's the biggest correction. Wasn't, you know, corrections are meant for like 700 jobs, not almost 1 million jobs. But now they've just revised the past jobs number, right? Last month, and they revised it downward by 112,000 fake jobs. So these guys are playing fast and loose. These are crooked people we're dealing with. The people we're running against are crooked as hell. So that's almost 1 million fake jobs. And I think it's something that Congress ought to look into, really. They ought to look at, who the hell ever heard of these numbers? And they wanted to revise them after the election. Could you imagine if you lost the election and then 2 days later, we've revised the numbers downward, 1 million jobs? Nobody's ever heard of it, but we thank you, Mr. Whistleblower. You know, some whistleblowers are very good. Kamala's failed economic agenda wiped out nearly 30,000 private sector jobs and nearly 50,000 manufacturing jobs in just the last month. Do you believe this? Nobody's ever heard of these numbers. Even I mean, I know they're incompetent, but I thought they were sort of riding along a little bit on what we built. With almost 100,000 manufacturing jobs killed since the beginning of the year. 100, that's a lot. 150,000, these are all the numbers coming out of the so-called government. Great government we have. 150,000 Americans joined the unemployment rolls last month. This is like a depression. And there's nothing, I mean, no event. I think they're trying to blame it on the hurricane. No, that was, you know, a relatively small area. No, not the hurricane. not the hurricane. They're the hurricane. And nearly 250,000 people dropped out of the labor force, which is almost unheard of. No, these are the worst numbers anybody's ever heard of. The data shows that 100%, listen to this part, of all new jobs, net job gains in the past year have gone to illegal migrants. And the jobs were taken from African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and union workers. I don't think the unions are too happy about this. But I told you this was going to happen. It was inevitable. They're letting millions and millions of people flood into the country. And the African American population, if you see these numbers now, they're going to release them. But I think maybe, Ron, you should try and get them early because they're really bad. They have taken so many jobs away from African Americans, less from Hispanic, but that's going to catch up. But the African American job picture is unbelievable. And we had it going so good, but they've come in illegally and they've taken the jobs, and people that have had jobs for 20 years and good jobs, and they raised a family, they had a little house and everything nice, and they've now lost their job to illegal migrants that have poured in through the open border policy of that stupid person. Kamala's inflation nightmare has, think of this, has cost the typical American family $30,000. Think of that one. Higher prices because the inflation's just raised. And you know what started? When they played around with my energy. I had no inflation. We had the greatest energy we've ever had. I was going to have it 4 times higher by now. And we're going to do that, but we got a little bit of a delay because... And we were going to have it 4 times higher. We were going to take care of Asia. We were going to take care of Europe. We're going to make a fortune, start paying down debt. We have $35 trillion in debt. We're going to lower your taxes. I gave you the largest tax cut in the history of our country and the largest regulation cuts. And we were able to do more. Thank you. Thank you. And now she wants to impose the largest tax hike in American history on top of everything else and raise your taxes by more than $3,000 a year. Is everybody happy? I don't want to ruin your night, but don't worry, we're going to make it good. You got to suffer a little bit to get them out. Get those people out. They're grossly incompetent. I stand before you today as the only candidate who can rescue our economy from total obliteration and restore it to strength, prosperity, and actual greatness. We're going to restore you to greatness. As the just released numbers plainly indicate, the economy is now a disaster. And are you listening to this, press? They're the most dishonest human beings. Are you listening to this? These people, you know, whenever I look at them, they turn the cameras off. The red lights go off like, you see them all go, they don't want any part of it. No, that's a lot of press. That's a lot of cameras going so late at night. But no, we're gonna bring it back, and we're gonna bring it back fast. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna drill, baby, drill. We're gonna get the energy down. It's gonna come down. We're gonna drill, baby, drill. But I don't know if you know it, their economy is expected to get significantly worse. How does it get worse than that? It's really bad. Top Wall Street analysts like Scott Bessent, who's one of the most brilliant guys on Wall Street, he said that the only reason the stock market is up is because everyone thinks Trump is going to win the presidency. That's pretty good. We had a great stock market. Can you imagine if Kamala won? You would go down to a 1929-style depression. I believe that, too. No, that would crush your incomes and kill millions of jobs and wipe out your savings. We're not going to let that happen. You got to get out and vote. Just got to get out. I don't like to say, you know, it's when I win. No, I sort of say, should I say when or if? You know, I know, but it sounds a little braggadocio, right? All right, when I win, you are 4 days away from the best jobs, the biggest paychecks, and the brightest economic future the world has ever seen. Thank you. That's so nice. Thank you. Thank you. I will massively cut taxes for workers and small businesses, and we will have no tax on tips. No tax on overtime. And for our seniors, ready? No tax on Social Security benefits. And I am going to, this was given to me by a friend of mine. Actually, this was given to me by a great political reporter. She said, "Sir, why don't you support and give a tax credit for family caregivers who take care of a parent or a loved one?" I said, "That's a good idea." So we're going to do that. Do you know, if you didn't have those people, you would not have enough hospitals in this country to take care of anything. You'd need to double your hospitals, and those are the greatest people on earth, and they do it with love. And we're going to get them a tax credit. Is that okay? It's about time. To rapidly reduce inflation, I will end Kamala's war on American energy. We're going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to frack, frack, frack. You know, she goes and she says, "Oh, no, I've always wanted to frack." This woman, she's the worst liar. Look, I had to go and beat crooked Hillary Clinton. She's crooked as a $4 bill. You know, I've never held a microphone up so long in my damn life. It's like I'm weightlifting. Sucker's heavy. But she's crooked as hell, right? Crooked Hillary. But she was less like, she didn't lie this way. This woman, Trump is going to do, he's going to terminate your Social Security in his first week in office. No, no, no. I'm the one that's going to keep it going. No increases in age. He's going to ruin Medicare. He's going to do that. I see her today. She's at a news conference. First of all, she's exhausted. She looks like, no, she's exhausted, right? Man. And you know what? I've gone 62 days, no days off. I've done so many. Thank you very much. No, I've gone 62 days. Today is an example. Yesterday I started off in New Mexico. You know why? It's not really a swing state, but it's a state that likes me a lot. It's got a thing called a border, and it's an open sieve. And people are pouring in by the thousands and thousands and doing a lot of destruction and doing a lot of crime. And I went there. We had a massive crowd. You couldn't even see the end of it. It was like early in the day on a regular weekday. And today I was in Michigan. We were all over the place. We were in Michigan, but I said, and Michigan's very important. You know, we're leading in Michigan. You know why? I'm going to bring back the car business, a little thing like that. You know, I told them today, a year ago I heard through a friend of mine who builds plants. He's a great plant builder, the best and the biggest in the world. He's building this massive plant, and I wanted to see it. I said, "I want to see the plant you're building." He goes, "Well, it's not in the U.S." I said, "Then I don't want to see it. I'm not interested. I have no interest." "Where is it?" It's in Mexico. "Who owns it?" "China." They're building this massive, they didn't start it. They're building this massive plant right on the border so they can make cars, sell them into the United States, and destroy the rest of Detroit. Take all the business away from Michigan, and in all fairness, Tennessee and South Carolina and lots of other places. and you to a lesser extent, but you too. But they're going to build this big plant. And I didn't like it. I said, that's killer. You know, they're trying to solve the Detroit situation, and we want to bring back company. And we're going to bring them back because you know why? The most beautiful word in the entire dictionary, you know what it is? It's tariff. The tariff. You're going to become so rich with the word tariff. You're going to become rich as hell. You're not going to know what to do with the money. I'm telling you, you're going to become very rich with the word tariff. And so I told them, and I was at the Detroit Economic Club. It was beautiful, and I was giving a talk, and I saw the guy that told me that they're going to start building a big plant in Mexico right on the border. And he was in the audience, John, his name is. He's, I think, the biggest in the world at this stuff. It's very good. He told me if you asked me to build an apartment, I couldn't build it, or a road, they couldn't lay the asphalt. But a plant, he has no problem with computers all over the place and robots. Lots of robots, by the way. So I said, well, how's that going? I was making a speech, and I said, I'm right about there where that very beautiful girl is. I'm not allowed to say that. See the beautiful blonde girl right there? I said, now, you know that's the end of your political career when you do that. You're not allowed to call anybody beautiful anymore. If you do, it's the end of your political career. Ron Johnson would never do that. That's why he's a great politician. No, right where that young lady is, John is sitting there. And I called him, I said, could you come back? And he comes backstage. Thank you very much. Fix the mic. You gotta be kidding. Do you want to see me knock the hell out of people backstage? You want to see me? I don't mind if they want to come up a little forward or something, but it's a pretty stupid situation, but that's okay. I get so angry, I'm up here seething. I'm seething, I'm working my ass off with this stupid mic. I'm blowing out my left arm, now I'm going to blow out my right arm, and I'm blowing out my damn throat, too, because these stupid people. I'll make you a deal. Pretend you're listening to it perfectly, and I'll come back and do another one, okay? With a decent... It's so stupid. And you know, the only thing I ask for, I don't care about lighting. I don't care about teleprompters because I never read the damn things anyway. By the way, isn't it nice to have a president that doesn't need a frickin' teleprompter? But I don't ask for much. I don't ask for much. The only thing I ask for is a good mic. And this is the second time today that this happened. So now if I were the president, and you know, like a dopey guy like this Kelly, the guy's a total moron, and that happened, I'd fire him, and everybody would say, gee, I'm such a bad person. You're not bad. You fire people. When, for instance, the generals that destroyed us in Afghanistan, every one of them should have been fired. Should have been fired. Hello? Hello? I don't think so. Hello? Is that better? Is that better? That's terrible. Is that better back there? Is that yes or no? What crap. The only thing I ask for is a mic. You don't have to give me, I don't even need a stage. I don't give a damn. Give me a good mic. And I went through 2 of these today. And it knocks the hell out of your throat. But so far I'm doing okay, right? Okay. Is that better? Yeah. And did you notice I came in today, I said, and you know, this is after 4 of these things. I mean, in all fairness, I mean, I'm a human being, right? I come in, and here's the problem. I said, oh man, it's too low. I said, it's too low. So, I had to go. Way too low. Way too low. So I walk in, I said, shit, there's nothing worse then I walk in like this, and I'm did you notice? I was bending over like this. Hello. And then everybody says, is there something wrong with his back? What the hell is wrong with that guy? They're saying he's cognitively impaired and physically impaired. There's something wrong with them all because I have guys that are stupid back there. All right, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, right? What a shame. But we're going to come back. I'm going to give you a free performance back in that corner. You got a bad area back there. But I think this is better. I think it's probably better. But what we're doing is we're going to cut your price of energy in half in 12 months. Because we have more liquid gold under our feet than Russia, than Saudi Arabia, than anybody. Oh, that sounds much better. Does that sound better? Oh, that's good. Now I don't have to come back. But we're going to cut it because we have all this beautiful liquid gold, and we're going to cut it, and it's going to drive everything down. It's going to be, you're going to get, okay, ready? January 20th. First of all, you're going to vote November 5th. You're going on Tuesday. That's number one, because we got to get that. I don't like talking about, like people are coming up to me, my staff over here, who are great. Sir, I'd like to recommend some people. I said, I don't want to talk about any people. First, I want to win, right? We don't want to talk about people. Don't tell me about people. Everybody wants a job. Remember, there was a moment where they were saying, oh, nobody wants to work for Trump. He's too difficult. He said, let me tell you a little secret. They die to work for us. You know why? Because they all want to be this glamour deal. They want to be in this beautiful administration. They want to be secretaries. No, they say, sir, nobody wants to work for you. Nobody wants to be Secretary of State and be known famous for the rest of your life. Nobody wants to be Secretary of the Treasury. Nobody. These people are nuts. It's these people right there. They don't want to work for Trump. They don't want to because he's difficult. You know why I'm difficult? Because I want perfection for our country. That's the only reason I'm difficult. So I will terminate the Green New Scam, one of the great scams in history. Remember our country was going to be dead in 12 years. Remember that? Well, we came up at the 12. What happened? Where are we? Let me tell you, they have global warming, right? They said global warming. They used to call it, but now they call it climate change. You know why? Because climate change covers cold, if it's too cold, if it's too climate change. We're suffering climate change. If it's cold, that's good. If it's hot as hell, that's good. It used to be global warming, and that wasn't working because we're actually cooling. So we have that. But you know, the biggest warming problem we have is nuclear warming. So they talk all the time about the ocean will rise in 500 years, 1/8 of an inch. Who the hell cares, okay? But we have maniacs that have nuclear weapons, so we can't let that happen. And you need a smart president. As an example, Russia would have never gone into Ukraine if I were president. Zero chance with Putin. Zero. And everything Biden said, I said he's saying the exact opposite of what he should be saying. Israel would have never happened. That attack, October 7th, would have never happened. What a shame, right? What a shame. You know what else wouldn't have happened? Afghanistan, we would have left sooner, but we were going to leave with dignity and strength. Instead, we lost 13 great soldiers. I know their families. You know, Biden and Kamala would never call the families, not even one little phone call. I don't think they really wanted to hear from them in the end. But they wouldn't call. 13 great people were lost. Many people lost the legs, the arms, the face was just horrifically injured and obliterated in some cases. Nobody ever talks about them. I talk about them all the time because those people, they're going to suffer for the rest of their lives. It's so sad. What happened at Afghanistan, and because of that, by the way, Putin looked, he said, oh, the U.S. is a paper tiger. I guess I can finally go into Ukraine because it's the apple of his eye. Always was. He told me, no, I love it. He loved it, right? He loved it. He wanted it, but he would have never done it with me. Zero chance, zero chance. So sad, so sad. So many things have happened. You know what else wouldn't have happened to you? You would have had no inflation. I had no inflation. You wouldn't have had. Inflation was caused by their stupid energy policy that drove the energy through the roof. It's not so complicated. To bring back millions of jobs, we will give our companies the lowest taxes, the lowest energy costs, the lowest regulatory burdens, and free access to the best and biggest market on the planet. And this mic is much heavier than the other one. I will take. I can do exercise. I can build up my muscle. But only for those who make their product here in the USA and hire American workers for the job. Right? Right? And if these companies don't make their products here in the USA, then they will be forced to pay a very stiff tariff when they send their products into the United States for the privilege of competing with our workers and taking our workers' jobs. And we will now have protected companies. These companies will not leave because they're going to be protected by tariffs, because they can't be undercut. You know, I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. Nobody talks about it. Those guys don't talk about anything. They only talk about bad. They only talk about fake news. But we took in hundreds of billions with a B, dollars from China. No other president took in 10 cents. Oh, you know, and I watched the other day, Mrs. Obama was nasty to me. What was that all about? What was that all about, Scott Walker? Nasty. Oh, look, it's Tommy Thompson. Holy mackerel. It's Tommy. Is that Tommy Thompson or am I? Stand up, Tommy. Stand up, Scott. What a couple of real pros, good guys. But Tommy, I got along with him great. You know, in 2016, I wanted to win Wisconsin so bad. He said it's not doable. He said, you are a very difficult state. But I won it, you know that. I did win it. Despite your difficulty, I actually won it twice, but these are minor details. But, which everyone knows is actually. But Tommy Thompson, and he's a longtime governor, a longtime pro, and I said, what do you think, Tommy? I have a big meeting, and it's hard. You know, you have all these states, you want to go to the states. And he said, sir, you're wasting your time if you come to Wisconsin. I said, I don't feel that way, Tommy. I had like one of these deals, except with fewer people, to be honest. You know, we become more popular with time. But it was good. It was big. I said, I don't think so. He said, sir, I'm telling you, you're wasting your time. But here's what I'll do. I don't want you to go to Pennsylvania, go to Michigan, go to these places you have to win. Don't do it, sir. But here's what I'm going to do. I never forgot it. It was the weirdest thing. He said, sir, don't do it. But if I feel you can win it, or if I feel you're going to win it, if something happens over the next couple of months, I'll call you and you can do it then. I said, wow, that's a great idea. So 3 weeks go by and I get a phone call. They said, sir, there's a Governor Tommy Thompson on the phone. I said, who the hell is that? You know, you sort of forget. You sort of forget, right? You know, it's like you're focused on the. I said, well, it's like Tommy. So I said, hi, Tommy, how you doing? What's up? Sir, it's time for you to get in that little chopper and come right up to Wisconsin. You're going to win this, sucker. He said, you're going to win it. And he was right, right? He was right. He was right. I got in that chopper. I was up here so fast they couldn't believe They couldn't believe you could travel that fast. No, and we won. We had a great victory. And I will say this, we're much more popular. This is a much bigger movement. You know, Make America Great Again, MAGA, it's the greatest movement by far in the history of our country. It's amazing. There's never been anything like it. And people don't even fight it anymore, really. They don't win. But it's the greatest movement. And when Biden was doing that thing with the purple background, you remember that? He looked like the devil, right? Remember that? Sebastian, have you gotten taller, Sebastian? What's going on with you? Sebastian, do you remember? Why are you standing? Do they not have a seat for you? He's giving me applause before we... He's a great guy. Does everybody listen to his show?
Thank you for watching WKOW. will now take you to our most recent 27.
Final answer, and actually they're starting to say it. You know who said it? Do you know who said it? Rogan. Did anyone see that? What a nice guy. What a good guy. Because that's called long form. Joe Rogan, that's called long form. So you're with him and you're talking, and you don't have to rush your answer and cram it in, right? I like the way, by the way, 60 Minutes, see this part of the weave too. I like the way 60 Minutes, in order, because she doesn't do a weave. She doesn't know where the hell she is. She gave the worst answer I've ever heard to a question. One of the main questions, she was on 60 Minutes, Kamala was, you can't call her Harris, because nobody knows who Harris is, right? Have you seen Harris lately? Who the hell is Harris? So you call her Kamala. But on 60 Minutes, they did something that was amazing. I never thought, I think it's the worst scandal in the history of broadcast. I mean, I think it's the worst scandal. She gave an answer which showed that she was grossly incompetent. It was crazy. It was just like all words. They had no meaning, no effect. They took the entire answer. They said, yes, we adjusted it slightly, yeah. They took the entire answer out, threw it away, and they took an answer down here that had nothing to do with it and put it, which was still crappy, but at least you could make a case. So they took the answer out and they put in a new answer. And I said, that's terrible. It's part of the news division. They get free licensing. They're worth billions, by the way, but the government brilliantly gives it to them for nothing, and they're all crooked. ABC's crooked as hell. Look at this David Muir, the way he was asking stuff. This guy, pretty boy. And his hair's not as good as it used to be, by the way. It used to be much better. But you know what? He was asking stuff. I said, what the hell is he asking? He said, crime went down. I said, only a fool would say crime went down. Crime didn't go down. It went. And then the following day, right, it came out, crime was up 49%. It's terrible. But what 60 Minutes did is unbelievable. They took the answer out. They replaced it with another answer. You got to see them trying to explain, Sebastian. They're trying to explain why they did that one. Did you ever do that? Would you ever do that? See, he may do that for me, but I don't think so, right? If he did, he wouldn't be talking about it, that I can tell you. But he may. I don't want people to do that. You know what they do? They take mine. Mine is a beautiful, beautiful answer. But here's what they do. They cut out part of the weave, and then it doesn't sound so good anymore. But what 60 Minutes did, and CBS, I think the license should be taken away from CBS. And I think that 60 Minutes should be forced to either close or take a very extended stay. And I'll tell you what, if a conservative broadcaster ever did what they did, it would be the end of their lives. Everybody would be in jail. Everybody would be in jail. What they did. And so in honor of you, we sued them yesterday for a lot of money. We sued them. And I sued them, and we call it election interference fraud. It's it's a fraud. And I don't think there's any real way. I don't believe there's any way they can even answer it. You want to know the truth? But as we rescue our economy, I will restore our borders, because I think that's your biggest problem. I do. They're destroying our country. They're putting dangerous people. Look at these beautiful people. You'll be interspersed with murderers, drug dealers, terrorists. Do we have any in the house right now? Are there any people? Over the past 4 years, Kamala has orchestrated the most egregious betrayal that any leader in American history has ever inflicted on our people. She's violated her oath, eradicated our sovereign border, and unleashed an army of gangs and criminal migrants from prisons and jails, insane asylums and mental institutions all around the world, from the Congo in Africa to Venezuela. You know, Venezuelan crime is down like 72%, right? Because they put their criminals into the United States of America. Thank you. Thank you. Our stupid leaders. And they're stealing countless American lives. You'll see that in a couple of minutes. It's horrible what's going on. It's a terrible situation. Today I want to hear directly from a mother whose world has been absolutely shattered. This is a young, beautiful mother who I met at one of the rallies, and we said, "You mind if we do this?" She was so dead. I had some of the toughest people I've ever seen with me. They were all crying when they saw this. Wait till you see this, please.
Sunday night, I asked her to not stay up super late because of her coming to work with me in the morning to do her summer school. She said, okay. I told her good night and I love you. I went to bed, not realizing that that was going to be the last time I saw her.
We're best friends.
Yeah.
We're going to shake it again.
I woke up to notice she wasn't in her bed. I'm in my heart trying not to lose my mind because I don't know where she is. I finally remembered her phone had a location on, and her phone was pinging just 2 minutes down the road, right behind the skate park. I start driving to the direction the phone was being pinged at, and I see a couple cop cars with lights on. I see yellow tape, and immediately my heart drops and sinks to the bottom of my stomach. My daughter's hands and ankles were both bound. She was strangled to death, left with no pants. And I know in my heart, she fought incredibly hard. She was not going down without a fight.
We begin with two men we're learning are charged with capital murder tonight, accused of killing a 12-year-old girl.
Police say these men strangled her before dumping her into that creek. Both men were in the country illegally.
Apprehended, then released by Border Patrol less than 3 weeks before Jocelyn's death. The men accused of killing Jocelyn Nungare are affiliated with the gang known for brutal violence.
Kamala Harris was in charge of immigration in our borders. If we had better border policies and not open borders and not these catch and release policies, I truly believe this all could have been prevented. Under her being vice president of this country, my daughter's life was ripped away from her. She had her entire life ahead of her.
Happy birthday, dear Jocelyn.
My daughter is 6 feet in the ground based off of policies that she allowed to keep. Kamala Harris did have one job, and she not only failed, not me, she failed my daughter. She failed Jocelyn. You know, she was only 12. President Trump reached out, gave me his sincerest condolences as not a former president, but just as a father, someone who cares. I believe Donald Trump needs to be back in office. I can at least know that my next child will be safe in this country.
This is what we're letting into our country. This is what we're letting in. And you could take that scene and multiply it times thousands, whether it's on highways, whether it's just shootings, plane shootings. These are rough people, rough people. And we can't take it. And it's the worst thing that's happening to our country. I think it's the worst thing that's happened to our country in decades. Nobody's ever even imagined a thing where other countries will take their prisons and open them and drop everybody, thousands of their prisoners. You know what they saved by doing that? And I know most of the heads of these countries. It's like they can't believe they got away with it. And as soon as I heard we were going to have open borders, I said, I know immediately that that's what's going to be done. They're opening their jails and their prisons and their mental institutions, and they're becoming empty. Some are already empty. but all over the world. All over the world. This isn't just in South America. It's not just Guatemala, Mexico, Honduras. You know, you think in terms of a little close. These are all over the world. Big, big in the Congo. Big, big. They're sending them over. Big, tough. They're tough. They're tough, and they're mean. And they're mean. The day I take the oath of office, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins. The savages charged with brutalizing and murdering Precious, Jocelyn, are members of the same vicious Venezuelan prison gang, Tren de Aragua, that's taking over apartment complexes and unleashing violent killing sprees all over America. All over America. Think of it. They're in Colorado. I think Colorado's going to vote for Trump. You know what they did? They were the ones that led the thing to get me up. I was the leading candidate of both parties, leading the Republicans and leading the Democrats 1-to-1. I was the leading candidate. And then they talk about a threat to democracy. And that governor, a radical left lunatic who's petrified of the gangs that are taking over his state, this guy went and told his people to try and get me off the ballot. Can you imagine that? That would have been a fine mess. That would have been a fine mess for the country, wouldn't it? And went to the Supreme Court of the United States, won 9-0, because even the justices that were liberally inclined, they said, we can't do that. You got to beat them at the ballot box. It was very heartwarming to see it as a 9-0. But this governor in Colorado did it. And you know who hated him the most? Are the Democrats in Colorado. They thought it was terrible. The United States is now an occupied country, but it will soon be an occupied country no longer. November 5th, 2024 will be Liberation Day in America. Liberation Day. And on day one, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history. I will rescue every city and town that has been invaded and conquered. These towns have been conquered. Think of what that means. Conquered. And we will put these vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail or kick them the hell out of our country immediately. And to expedite removals of Tren de Aragua criminals and MS-13 criminals, which are just about as bad. We took out thousands of MS-13s. You know, they loved Long Island. Isn't that nice? You know, two beautiful girls, 16 years old, were walking to school one day, and MS-13 attacked the two girls, and they sliced them up with knives. They didn't want to shoot them because that's too quick and not painful enough. They killed both girls. And it's lucky that we have ICE around because ICE was extremely good. They were extremely good. And this fool that we have running for president without having gotten one single vote to his 14 million votes, this fool wanted to defund ICE. We want to defund ICE. If you defunded ICE, you had nobody that's tough enough to go in there and get these animals out of our country. She wanted to defund ICE. I will invoke and this is incredible because we had to go back so far. I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. That's when they ran a tough country. To target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. And if they come back into our country, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. And I am hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or a law enforcement officer. And I will immediately ban all sanctuary cities in the United States of America. We will have them no longer. And despite all the damage she has caused, Kamala has spent the final week of her campaign comparing her political opponents to the most evil mass murderers in history. You know that, right? All of us, you, me. 2 days ago, Joe Biden called our supporters garbage. He called them garbage. That's worse than deplorables, isn't it? Remember Hillary? How did that work out with deplorables? Well, garbage is working out even worse for him. They called you, all of us, garbage. We're garbage. And I believe we have 250 million people. I believe we have most of the country is about making America great again. And my response to Joe and Kamala is very simple. You can't lead America if you don't love Americans. You just can't do it. It doesn't work. And you can't be president if you hate the American people. And I actually think they hate the American people. She's not a good person. You know, her help, 95% of her help left. You know, when she was in the DA's office in California, she made everybody stand at attention when she walked in. Good morning, madam. Good morning, they were told to say. Good morning, Madam District Attorney. Stand up at attention. She's not a good person. Kamala's closing message to Americans is that I believe she hates you. I do believe that. I mean, I do believe that. My closing message is that I love America, and I'm inviting you to join us in building an extraordinary future for our nation. My oath of office is an oath of allegiance to you, the American people. We're gonna straighten this mess out. It's a mess. It's an incompetent mess. I mean, she can't answer. She can't. I see her being interviewed yesterday. She can't answer a question. She goes all over the place. She doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. She's crazy. It's crazy. I'm asking for your vote, but I want you to know that whether you vote for me or not, when I win, I will fight for you with every breath in my body. I'm going to fight very hard whether you vote for me or not. I took a lot of heat about 2 months ago because I said, I think women like me. I do. I think the suburban housewives like me. I do. I think it's a con job by these people. I think it's a lot of crap. But I think they do. And I said, I think they like me because they know I'm going to protect them. And they said, oh, it's such a horrible thing. I said, no, I want to protect the women of our country. I want to protect them in many ways. But some of the ways are suburban housewives. They say don't like me. I think they do like me because, thank you. She said, I love you. No. Where do you live? What part of Westchester do you live? Oh, well, that's nice. Illinois. Illinois. You may have the worst governor in the entire country. Thank you very much. Yes, we do. He's terrible. They threw him out of the family business, so he decides to run for governor. I know the Pritzker family very well. I was partners with them, actually. They have some good people, but they threw him out because he was not very good, and he ends up running for governor because he's got money, but he's terrible. But I'm not allowed to use the fat word. That's the other word you cannot use. You are not allowed to use the fat word, so I will not do it, but that guy is disgusting. Everything Kamala says is a lie. Her entire campaign is one hoax and slander after another. But the more they lie, the more they smear, the more you need to get out and vote. We're going to get rid of these people. We're going to get rid of them fast, right?